Homeowners in the troubled Bella Vista subdivision in Tauranga forced out of their homes because of faulty construction are devastated they can't return to their homes. The Tauranga City Council has told the owners of 21 properties that it's too dangerous to go back. The developer of the subdivision went into liquidation in December, and the threat from Cyclone Hola in March forced the evacuation of residents. Last night the council broke the very bad news to homeowners. Andrew McRae reports.
Engineers have identified a number of issues with the homes, including geotechnical, structural and building compliance and problems with drainage. Andre Stewart and his family never actually got to live in their new home, as it wasn't completed by the time the developer went bust. He wasn't surprised by the latest news, but all he wants is to be able to move on. Unfortunately, while arguments over who's responsible and who should pay continue, the cost to his family mounts.
And we are having to look at permanent rental accommodation within the budget due to having to pay mortgages, rent, insurances, the works.
And to add insult to injury, residents still have to pay council rates on their properties. He says all he wants is to be able to move on.
But where it leaves us at the moment is how long is it going to take and at what cost until we're in a position where we, are basically completely broke and whatnot from there.
Jenny Coffey had lived in her home with her husband and dogs for 18 months before their life was turned upside down. Her place was one of a number that actually had council code of compliance. She says compensation's essential, and this must include getting back into the buoyant local real estate market.
We've been out of the market now for 2 years. The market's gone up, and we need to be able to have enough money to be able to purchase again.
She stresses any inquiry into what happened and who's responsible must have input from homeowners.
We want to have a say in who does this external audit, because it's our properties and our livelihood that is being dealt with here. This is our money.
Andre Stewart says the fact some properties had code compliance beggars belief.
How has Tauranga City Council allowed that to happen? They have the authority to issue these code of compliance, and now they're saying it's dangerous for someone to live in, and which kind of to me sounds like they have given someone they've put someone in a position of unsafety for the last 18 months.
The Tauranga City Council says it will make a decision on one of 4 options at a meeting in early June. These include remediating and putting a charge on owners to recover costs once the properties are sold, remediating without a charge, leaving the council to cover all costs, purchase the properties, demolish and sell the land, and issue notices to bring the houses up to code and leave it to the owners. Chief Executive Gary Poole says meetings with individual homeowners will take place before a final decision is made.
It may well be that one-size-fits-all solution does not emerge, and there are kind of multiple solutions.
Mr Poole says he wants resolution for homeowners as soon as possible.
If you're saying one of our objectives is to make sure that homeowners aren't left in this uncertain position for any longer than they need to be, absolutely yes. We want to get this resolved as quickly as we can for homeowners, because elected members and staff are very empathetic to their position.
Gary Poole says the council will consider providing rates relief, and while it will stop paying for temporary accommodation from later this week, it will look at individual cases on merit. For Checkpoint, Andrew McRae.